shepherd boy against a giant, a slingshot against a sword and spear, 5 smooth stones against armor that weighed more than most men could carry. This isn't a fairy tale. This is the story of David and Goliath, and what happened in that valley changed the course of history forever. Israel was at war. The Philistines had gathered their armies on one side of the valley of Elah, and King Saul's forces stood on the other. Between them, a narrow ravine where no one dared to go. Every morning for 40 days, the same ritual played out. A giant named Goliath would step forward from the Philistine lines, his footsteps shaking the ground beneath him. 9 feet tall, some say closer to 10. His armor alone weighed 125 pounds. The spearhead he carried was 15 pounds of iron, and every morning he shouted the same challenge. "Send out your best warrior. Let us settle this one-on-one. Winner takes all. The loser's army becomes servants to the victor." Not a single man in Israel's camp moved. King Saul, who stood head and shoulders above everyone else, stayed silent. His most experienced soldiers, men who had fought bears and lions in enemy armies, they all looked at the ground. Goliath wasn't just big. He was a professional killer, trained from childhood for war. Facing him meant certain death. Then one day, a teenager showed up. David had been sent by his father to bring food to his older brothers serving in Saul's army. He arrived just as Goliath was delivering his daily insult, mocking the God of Israel and daring anyone to face him. David heard the challenge. He saw the fear in every soldier's eyes, and he asked a question that no one expected. "Why is everyone afraid of this man?" His brothers told him to be quiet and go home. This wasn't his fight. He was just a shepherd. But David didn't see it that way. He went to King Saul and said something that sounded insane. "I'll fight him." Saul looked at this boy, probably no older than 17, and tried to reason with him. "You're just a kid. Goliath has been a warrior his entire life. You don't stand a chance." But David pushed back. "I've killed lions. I've killed bears with my bare hands when they came for my father's sheep. The same God who delivered me then will deliver me now." Saul had no better options. He agreed. Then he tried to dress David in his own armor, a bronze helmet, a coat of mail, a sword strapped to his side. David put it on, took a few steps, and immediately took it off. "I can't fight in this. It's not who I am." So he walked into the valley with nothing but his staff, his sling, and 5 smooth stones from the brook. Goliath saw him coming and laughed. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" He cursed David by his gods and promised to feed his flesh to the birds. David didn't flinch. "You come against me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty. This day, God will hand you over to me, and the whole world will know there is a God in Israel." He reached into his bag, pulled out a stone, loaded his sling, and ran toward the giant. 1 stone, 1 shot. It struck Goliath square in the forehead, and the giant collapsed face first into the dirt. David didn't need armor. He didn't need a sword. He had something far more powerful: faith in a God who fights for his people. David stood over the fallen giant, pulled Goliath's own sword from its sheath, and finished what God had started. The Philistine army, seeing their champion dead, turned and ran. Israel's forces, moments earlier paralyzed by fear, surged forward in pursuit. The battle was over before it truly began. This story isn't just ancient history. It's a pattern that repeats itself throughout Scripture and throughout life. God doesn't choose the qualified. He qualifies the chosen. He doesn't need your strength, your experience, or your credentials. He needs your willingness to step into the valley when everyone else is standing still. David didn't win because he was brave. He won because he knew who fought beside him. The giant wasn't his problem to solve. It was God's. And God doesn't lose. You might be facing your own giant right now, something that looks insurmountable, something everyone else has walked away from, something that makes you feel small and unqualified. But if God has called you to face it, the size of the giant doesn't matter. What matters is the size of your God. David picked up 5 stones that day. He only needed 1. Sometimes God gives you more than enough, not because you'll need it all, but because He wants you to know He's already prepared you for what's coming. The question is, will you step into the valley?